I'm Carol Ann Ford. I played Susan in Doctor Who. And I've been listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast, and it's absolutely amazing. So, goodbye everybody, and it's been fun talking to you.
The Tangents and Squee continue all the way to episode number 37 of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Con season is fully upon us. Our feet are tired, our wallets are empty, but we wouldn't have it any other way. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. So glad you could join us. Let's start off like we do every week by going around the virtual table and see who has joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Fort Pierce.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City. Mitch in Kitchener, Ontario.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, everyone. We are ish this week. Holly had some stuff come up, although she said if she could join in, she will. So there's always be prepared for somebody to pop in. You just never know.
Some of us are here, but we're a little bit ish because of cold and allergy season.
Yeah.
So apologies if any of us sneeze or cough and we don't hit the mute button in time.
Yeah. It's con season. It is also cold and allergy season. So I think every single one of us is some degree of stuffed up.
Yeah. So if you think we sound weird, it's because we do.
Yeah. Weirder.
Exactly.
Yes, weirder than usual. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So we've got a lot to talk about, so we are going to jump straight into news.
Let's start right off with it. See, I'm really not here with this. Okay, first bit of news is Big Finish. If you follow their main range, they are, you notice on their main range, they're coming up to a very special milestone. They're about to, in a few months, release their 200th main range Big Finish audio. This is for Doctor Who. And so to celebrate, they are going to do 3 very special stories for story 198, 199, and for 200. And in June is when the 200th one is going to come out. And what makes these stories special is, if you know, in their main range, that's where they have the 5th Doctor, the 6th Doctor, and the 7th Doctor, those audio stories with, whatever companion they pair them up with. And usually it's been their TV companions or maybe some new ones that they've picked up along the way. Well, for these special main range releases, they're going to pair up each of these Doctors with a set of companions from the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Doctor eras, and this is actually kind of cool. And this, so the releases are they've announced the titles and they said which Doctors and which companions. So release number 198, which comes out, I guess that would be in April, wouldn't it? Yeah, because 200 is in June. 198 is called The Defectors, and that will be starring Sylvester McCoy as the 7th Doctor, and it will have Katie Manning as Jo Grant and Richard Franklin as Captain Mike Yates. So Jo Grant and Mike Yates will be with the 7th Doctor for that audio. 199 is The Last of the Cybermen. That one will have Colin Baker as the 6th Doctor, and second Doctor companions Wendy Padbury as Zoe Harriet and Fraser Hines as Jamie McCrimmon, which, if you know a little bit, just a little bit of, not really spoilers because they advertised it, but there was one story earlier on in the range that had Jamie travel with the 6th Doctor for a while, and then at the end of that run of stories, Zoe joined him. So this would be the second time that I know of that this has happened.
Well, and the 6th Doctor and Jamie have appeared on TV together too, in the 2 Doctors.
Yes, that's true. That's true in the 2 Doctors. So there's precedence for that there as well. And then Big 200. Oh, I'm excited about this because, first off, it's my Doctor, but it's also so it's the 5th Doctor, Peter Davison, and it's called the story is called The Secret Histories, and there's artwork, there's cover artwork with these audios released already, and this one looks like it might be a pure historical because it had the companions for that one will be Maureen O'Brien as Vicky, and Peter Purvis as Stephen and Stephen so much. Oh my gosh, this is like so exciting. So we'll have links in the show notes. You can read the synopses for these, and I am going to be purchasing all 3 of these. You probably pre-order them.
Yeah, they're available for pre-order.
Yes,
yeah.
Pre-order for CD or download.
Yeah.
I always get downloads because I have nowhere to put CDs, and
Yeah.
I can put downloads on my computer.
And there's synopses for each of the stories. So if you wanna learn more about the story, they have those on Big Finish's website. So
yeah, and it doesn't sound like, so. This is if you haven't gotten into Big Finish at all, it doesn't sound like this will depend on any previous knowledge of any of these stories or characters, other than what you know in from the TV series. So, if you want to just jump in and check these out, this is be a good place to do it.
Yeah, I may have to get at least the 6th Doctor one because I have to have anything 6th Doctor anyway. But the 2 Doctors is one of my favorite 6th Doctors TV episodes because it's got the 2nd Doctor and then Jamie. And the 6th and Jamie together, I mean, they don't really get a whole lot of screen time together, but it's enough, and it's utter hilarious. So,
I have to ask, did you get that special 6th Doctor The Last Adventure pre-ordered?
No, not yet.
Oh. Well, you still have time.
When we get to our discussion for this week's episode, you will find out that I'm having to be very particular about what I spend my money on at the moment. So.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
Yeah. No. I need to get that. I need to get this. I still need to get the one that they released back at Christmas with the Ronnie. So. I'm a bit behind with the Big Finish. Big Finish takes a back seat at the moment to where my dollars go. So
kind of reminds me of what Glenn said about Big Finish needs to take a break from the Doctor Who stuff so we can all get caught up and then come back.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. It's like we'll buy the back catalog so you guys can keep operating and paying your bills and stuff, but stop.
It's not necessarily that they need to stop entirely. They can produce their other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They have other ranges
other
that have
stuff.
nothing to do with it.
They can keep producing that as long as they want. Just take a break on Doctor Who.
Yeah.
For
so our pocketbooks can get caught up.
Right? You know how many Doctor Who spin-offs though they have?
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh, your brain spins just thinking about it.
Yeah. We'll have to do a podcast episode just about Big Finish here at some point. So
we'll have to do several.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I swear. I think there's more runtime on Big Finish than there is in the entire run of TV episodes, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know the numbers for sure, but it's a pretty good guess.
Yeah.
Well, if you tally up all the main range and all the extra, then like the Companion Chronicles, Jago and Lightfoot, and
the Unit
Iris Wildfire, Unit, Countermeasures, Dalek Empire.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah. Anyway.
Basically, Big Finish owns my bank account.
Yeah.
Or would if I didn't have any self-control.
Yeah. Pretty much. Anyway. Moving on.
Moving on to another franchise that
we love.
Spend a lot of money on.
Has my bank account.
Captain America Civil War is to begin filming soon. And there's been an unofficial synopsis, which reportedly sent out with casting notes. Following the events of Age of Ultron, the collective government of the world passes an act designed to regulate all superhuman activity. This polarized opinion the Avengers, causing two factions to side with Iron Man or Captain America, which causes an epic battle between former allies. While Captain America turns against the collective governments, arguing that a hero's identity must be secret to protect both himself and his loved ones, We all know Tony Stark has never had a problem telling people exactly who he is. This will pit him against the Captain in the upcoming movie. Avengers Age of Ultron will set up the Civil War storyline as the Avengers, and most particularly Tony Stark, find themselves responsible for putting the Earth in danger and its consequences due to Tony's creation of Ultron. I can't read that name.
I think it's Collider.
Collider?
Yeah.
Okay. Also reports that the movie, directed by the Russo brothers, I probably butchered those two, who were also in charge of Captain America the Winter Soldier, will start shooting on April 1st. So, expect pictures soon,
Yes.
I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very fuzzy ones from way far away.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, it's cool they're starting shooting, and the synopsis, if it is indeed the real one.
That sounds about right. So.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I'm like, don't people know who Captain America is too, or am I just, or is that just Coulson fanboy?
I think that may be more Coulson fanboy.
Okay.
And Coulson did.
more than anything.
Yeah.
So I mean, Steve Rogers has never been secret about who he is, but he's not out there like Tony Stark is, where Mr. I am
True.
Iron Man,
True.
So.
And I am glad that the synopsis does address the fact that, well, everyone knows who Tony Stark is.
Yeah.
Right?
Iron Man. And I'm like, well,
Duh.
why does he have to register with the thing?
Yeah. So, but it, yeah. But I was talking about the Civil War storyline with my husband actually earlier in the week, and he was like, "Well, it's so obvious how it's gonna go." I'm like, "So I knew primarily what the storyline of the first Avengers movie was gonna be. I still don't care. I saw it 5 times in the theaters. It's the specifics and the visuals and putting it all in context is where,
And the jokes.
and the jokes
Right.
and everything,
Character
and the where's the Stan Lee cameo going to be? That's what draws you
Yeah.
in. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter that it's kind of, if you're familiar enough with like the comic books and all that, generally what the story is going to be, but you're going to watch it anyway because it's
Yeah, it's like-
entertaining.
oh, yeah.
So.
It's like going to see movies based on books, like seeing the Harry
Exactly.
Potter movies or The Hobbit.
Yeah.
We basically know what's going to happen. We're going to see.
Yeah. We want to
was-
see it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well,
Yeah.
right now, right before we started podcasting, recording, I was watching Once Upon a Time. Tonight's Once Upon a Time. I'm only
I haven't
halfway
seen
done,
it yet.
So no spoilers. But,
Okay.
but this one, as opposed to the one last week, because last week I'm like, okay, it's just plot, moving on. This one, I think I'm going to come back and watch again and again, because so far, there have just been some really, really good character moments, and I'm like, I'm going to want to come back and watch this again, even though I already have seen it and have, and know what's going to happen. Doesn't hurt that it's a Hook-centric episode, and I've been to rewatch those several times, like, I don't know how many times I've rewatched Good Form. It's just, it's amazing. Anyway.
Oh.
Also, really quickly, there's a video floating around about Robert Downey Jr. Delivering a bionic arm to this little boy.
It's so
just
cute.
too adorable.
Well,
It is. Oh,
while Tony Stark may be in your face and like kind of a jerk sometimes and full of himself, Robert Downey Jr. on the other hand is like a magnificent human being.
you know what I loved about this video is that it's this little boy who, he was born with his right arm was not fully developed, so he's getting this, or his left arm, one of his arms, and he's like so kind of quiet and shy, and Robert Downey Jr. is there, and you can't really tell if he is himself or if he's being Tony Stark. I mean, you kind of think he's being Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And so this boy's parents are there, I'm assuming it's his parents or an adult, and someone asks, "Do you know who that is?" And the little boy's like, "Yeah."
Iron
like,
Man.
Iron Man, and he's like, "What's Iron Man's name?"
Robert.
And this big, the cutest, big old grin on his face, like, "Oh wow, he's not calling me Tony. He's calling me by my real name, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that's like the most endearing thing in the world.
Yeah. It's like other than the ego and the ability to fly, in a mechanical suit, Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. So
pretty much, and it's really cool because we just had Chris Evans and Chris Pratt do their Super Bowl bet thing. We saw pictures of that, and I'm like, you know what, these Marvel guys, we know there's a reason we like you.
Yeah. We love y'all.
They don't just play superheroes; they are superheroes.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of came out of the way I wanted, but you get the point.
Yes. So, yay! So, a couple other pieces of housekeeping. First, and I know we've mentioned this, in the last couple episodes. The Kickstarter for the folks at Who North America. That ended last weekend, and they came so close to reaching their goal. I think they missed it by like $600. Which unfortunately on Kickstarter, if you don't make your goal, you don't get anything. Which is really unfortunate because they, I had been pushing it and other people been pushing it, and after the fact, and they post on their Facebook page, thank you, and there are so many people like, well, I'm just now hearing about it. So as much as everyone tried to advertise it, I guess it just wasn't enough. But that being said, they do have a GoFundMe campaign going, which is different than Kickstarter because if you donate, you don't really get anything in return, other than warm fuzzies, knowing that you helped. And it doesn't really it probably has a deadline, but it's further out. So there's still time. So we will post a link to the GoFundMe. So if you're still, if you donated to their Kickstarter, obviously they didn't charge you because they weren't successful. So you got essentially your money back. So if you still feel like, those dollars are going to a good cause, please, if you can, donate to the folks at Who North America, because they are the nicest people, and it's a great obviously, I could go on and on about, big business versus family-owned businesses, but I mean, they are family-owned. It's a husband and wife. Their kids help out at the shop. But Keith and Janie are just like the nicest people that I've ever encountered, and they really love Doctor Who. They're big fans, and it's great to have a business like this, especially here in the Midwest, because we're not like the mecca of metropolitan anything. And especially Indianapolis. Indianapolis is a sports town. So, it's all about football and basketball and racing, which I love all that, but as far as like geek culture and all that, we're starting to get there with all these conventions and stuff, but we still have a ways to go before, Indianapolis is like, oh yeah, that's a fun place to go if you're, into nerdy stuff. So, anything to help support a local business, especially one that is such a important part of the community, because they are at the conventions. They were at Comic-Con, they'll be at PopCon, they'll be at Gen Con. They're planning on going to Wizard World in Philly because David Tennant and Billy Piper are going to be there. Which, FYI, if I win the lottery, I'm going to be there with bells on. But so, I mean, they're going to keep doing what they're doing, but I mean, they have mortgaged like their life trying to get this business to grow, and it has grown, but they need, some help to keep themselves going. So that's my 2-cent plea there. And also tied into that, if you happen to find yourself, I don't know how many people listen are actually in Indianapolis or around Indianapolis, but if you are local or you find yourself in Indianapolis this next coming weekend, the 28th of March, They will be having their monthly open house, where they open the doors and anybody could come in and shop and talk, and they show like Doctor Who episodes and stuff, and you can view the museum and all that and buy merchandise. But I think I teased this last week that nothing was definite yet, but I will be there. They were nice enough to invite me to come hang out during the open house. They're going to set up a little table, and I'll be there, with business cards, and I've got some ideas for stuff for giveaway, to give away stuff. But I will be there. So stop by, and we will be talking Doctor Who, because this is especially fun because the 10th anniversary of Doctor Who's return to TV is coming up very quickly at the end of this month.
It's this week.
Yeah, it is this week. So I will be there, and if you want, I will have my little recorder handy, and I would love to talk to fellow Whovians about the anniversary and just Doctor Who in general. So if you stop by and see me, you may get to be on next week's show. So, but I'm very excited, and I'm so thankful that they extended this invitation, and we possibly have other things in the work for me to do other stuff with them in the future. But we will see as time goes on, what comes to fruition. But yeah, so Who North America, next Saturday, March 28th, they will be open from 1 to 5, and I posted on our Facebook page with the address. So I posted on my own personal Facebook page. I know my mom shared it. Thanks, Mom. But I've already had a couple of people say, yeah, I may come by. So I'm like, yay! So I'm excited.
Sweet. Well, big thanks to them for inviting you on.
Yep.
Indeed.
And that's going to be awesome.
So, like, our first official, like, 5-ish Fangirls appearance at something. I'm excited! So,
oh, totally.
Yeah. And then also, Marvel with Friends. We had, unfortunately, I didn't make it. I did not get back to the house until late. But I know that a few of you did do the tweet along with Iron Man 3. So that looked like you guys had fun.
It was me and Brittany and a newcomer, a Twitter handle, Night Owl Girl. Her name is Amy. So
yeah.
Hi, Amy.
Yeah.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yes.
Isn't she the one that always wanted to come, but she kept on missing it?
Yes.
Might have been, but she made it. She made it, and it was a lot of fun tweeting along with her, and and we had a good time. We were small in numbers, but great in enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And I love Iron Man 3. I don't know why people don't like it, because they're just jerks, I guess. Anyway, it's one of my favorites, and it was one of those that at the end I was like, wait a minute, they didn't tell me this is going to be the last one, but
it may not be.
It is.
And that's the thing.
But yeah, so
that's neither here nor there.
We all enjoyed it, and if you were there, I goofed up and tweeted out that we were doing Captain America next time. That is wrong. Thank you, Rachel, for catching me.
You're welcome. I did get back in time to see that.
We are doing Thor: The Dark World in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we'll do
April
Captain
4th.
America: Winter Soldier. Yeah, April 4th. Yep. So join us for that. I'm blaming the cold medicine on that.
Which after, Chrissy tweeted and I sent out another tweet with the correction, and she sent out another tweet apologizing for making the mistake, which is fine. Like I said, it's like I think you were just excited to see Captain America again. But
yes, probably.
But
because I left to get ready for bed, and then I was like, wait a minute, I think I did that wrong.
Yeah.
Then I came back and I saw that you tweeted out. I was like, mea culpa.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
Yeah, but we are winding down with Marvel with Friends here. We only have like 3 more movies left. We have Thor: Dark World, Captain America: Winter Soldier, and Guardians of the Galaxy, and then that's it. So when it's almost over, and obviously we're very thankful to everybody we're thankful that for everybody that's joined in, and it's been a ton of fun. As a quick little aside tangent, after after it was over and we tweeted out what was next, and I was looking at the schedule, and I think I said this to Brittany or just in general in the chat. I was like, I could not have planned the Marvel with Friends schedule out this well if I had actually tried, because it fell. Doing Marvel with Friends when Mitch was at Gallifrey 1. We didn't do Marvel with Friends when I was at Comic-Con the last weekend. We watched the same week that Agent Carter ended. We are now watching Thor: The Dark World, which just so happens to have Christopher Eccleston in it, and we're getting ready to celebrate the return of Doctor Who.
With Christopher
Eccleston. Like, I could not have tried this better if somebody put a gun to my
The universe loves us.
I
guess what is it? The stars of Midgard or Asgard.
Although I was at Comic-Con for this latest Marvel with Friends, but that's okay. I was winding down anyway by the time that.
Yeah, but it's just like, if we do something like this again, if we do something like this again, do not expect it to go this well.
I was back in my hotel room in time to join in, so I was watching. I just wasn't tweeting much, which I don't tweet much.
That's okay.
General, so
yeah.
But yeah, I had a thing with the
Wi-Fi
Doctor Who Society of Canada.
Yeah.
I had a thing with the Doctor Who Society of Canada, so I left that. Like, it actually went on for like another hour after I left. But
Party!
It was fine. I was ready to leave anyway.
Yeah. Been there. We'll get to that though when I get to
my supper. I had bangers and mash because it was at a pub.
Nice.
So I had
love me some bangers and mash
for supper, and then I had it's called the Big Ben brownie. It's awesome.
Nice.
At the Elephant and Castle in Toronto, if you're ever there, have the Big Ben brownie.
Well, Mitch.
Well, that's a nice little segue.
Yeah, I was going to say, you go ahead and talk about what exactly you were doing in Toronto this weekend.
Yes. Tell the good folks.
Should I just continue from there?
Absolutely.
Yeah, go for it.
Segue.
This past weekend was Toronto Comic-Con, which is like, it's not as big as Fan Expo, but it's in the same building. So, it was a 3-day convention. I went up on Friday, did some stuff, saw some people. I actually got an advanced copy of the 9th Doctor comic book.
Nice.
Issue 1.
Nice.
They had because they had the Fan Expo exclusive cover, so I got an advanced copy. So
nice.
Yay! And then Saturday Saturday is the main day of the convention, and I think it was Saturday morning that I checked the convention Facebook page and discovered that Karen Gillan had canceled, and then I was talking to because Karen Gillan was at the convention, but like there was something that I saw that and she tweeted that she couldn't make it, but they worked with her to get her there just later than she was supposed to come. So, but I talked to the people at the Doctor Who Society of Canada booth about it and discovered that she was in fact after I found out she had canceled, I talked to them and discovered that she was actually coming, that they had worked with her to do it. So she flew in on Saturday evening after having filmed till like 5 o'clock in the morning. She filmed all of Friday night till 5 o'clock in the morning, and then flew out to Toronto to come to Comic-Con. So,
Wow.
And then Saturday evening, I went to the Doctor Who Society of Canada pub night at the Elephant and Castle, which I think I'm saying that right. I'm just gonna check. Yeah.
Sounds like it could be like a Welsh name or something.
Yeah, the Elephant and Castle.
Is it an actual castle?
It's,
Or is it just designed to look like a castle? Because I know, in Los Angeles, I have like the Magic Castle.
No.
No.
Really? But yeah, I went there. It started at 7:45, so I got there slightly after that, and met up with the other people that went to that, and it's actually like there's this 11th Doctor cosplayer, Nathan, who I met up with several times over the weekend, and he was great.
Nice.
We ended up at the pub night having a conversation about he made his jacket, and we ended up having a conversation about the jacket.
Nice.
And, the construction, and I making, because I had mine that I bought from Abbey Shot, and so he was asking about how with the corduroy on the collar, and what they did with that, and how they, and all the different stuff, and yeah, so we talked about our cosplay. That was fun. And then Sunday, Karen was there, and I got to meet her.
Yay!
And so the convention opened at 10, but I didn't go in right away because I didn't want to have to deal with the line. And
I don't blame you.
The line getting into the convention, so I waited and got there just before 11 and went straight to Karen's autograph line. And it was quite a long line by the time I got there, because it was in the area, and it went out from the table and then doubled back and then went out and then doubled back.
Ugh.
And I was at the end of the second double back, and then people lining up behind me as I went through, and I got there to the front of the line and got my money and my pictures ready and went up and paid, and then I went and I talked to Karen, and I told her, and I said, so I hear you crashed your cousin's panel at Planet Comic-Con last weekend.
Listen to Traveling the Vortex.
And she had just wanted to sit in on the hill, but that they had called her up there.
Thank you, Glenn.
I told her that I was friends with the with the Traveling the Vortex guys. Like, I'm friends. Like I said, I'm friends with them, and I'm actually a member of their sister podcast, the Five-ish Fangirls. And I gave her our business card.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So Karen, if you're listening, hi.
Karen, if you're
Hi, Karen.
great.
And
You thank you
if you
so
did-
much for coming.
And if you didn't listen to the Traveling the Vortex episode, their last one with Planet Comic Con in Kansas City, they moderated a panel with Caitlin Blackwood. Karen crashed it.
And it was
Unintentionally.
awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It
to
was
listen
45 minutes of awesomeness.
to. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, and
It was
then
amazing.
after that, I went straight to line up for Karen's Q&A, which was at 1. So I was in line at like probably like just before 12.
Smart.
Yeah, because Karen hadn't been at our table when I went to line up. But she came back around 20 after 11, and I went through, and it was about 12, and I went, and we were all sitting down because we knew it was going to be an hour. And there was like 3 or 4 lines by that point.
Mm.
So, I played Legacy. I talked to the people who were ahead of me in line. I listened to some of the Gallifrey audios that I bought at Galley last month. So I'm on
Galley from
season 2
Gallifrey.
right now. So I listened to some from season 2. And then we went in, and it was amazing seeing her. I have a bunch of pictures and some video from there that we'll probably post at some point soon.
Yeah, we put up on our YouTube.
Yeah. So some of them I started recording partway through her answering the question, so I'll put an explanation in the description for those ones of like what the question was,
Yeah.
what she said before the recording starts, kind of thing.
Or you could put like a caption in the video even.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yep.
I'm not just gonna post the video with no explanation.
Yeah. We're just gonna make you guess.
They're like, you're gonna play a game. What is Karen talking about in
Yeah.
this clip?
So, yeah, that was great. And then I hung around the convention for another 3 hours talking to people, and I got some buttons, some really cool Doctor Who buttons that we can post a picture of.
Yeah. Swag.
And we can also quote my autographs. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's autographs that I already got Matt and Arthur to sign previously, and finally got Karen to sign. So, yeah.
The collection is complete. At least for that collection.
The pictures are complete.
Yeah.
They're signed. They are complete. It is.
Our Doctor Who collections will never be totally complete, but
But
that autograph set is
this set of autographs
is complete.
The quest is complete.
Yep.
Time to scale that mountain.
And then I went home. Which,
It's always the worst part.
so, especially since I took the subway I was going to take the subway to Yorkdale Mall to meet up with my parents who were on their way back from Ottawa where my brother had a hockey tournament. So they were on their way back from that, and we were going to meet at Yorkdale Mall. And I got on the subway, and I went for a few stops. And then I had to get off before my stop because apparently the subway wasn't running in between two of the stops.
Oh.
So I had to a shuttle through Toronto and get back on the subway at the other stop, and then continue from there to Yorkdale. And then I met with my parents. We drove home, and yeah, that was my Comic-Con weekend.
Fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, my experience was actually quite similar to yours, except substitute Karen for Jenna Coleman. Although I didn't have any issues with any subways or anything, which is good.
One more thing I forgot to mention with the waiting in line for Karen's autograph is when she arrived to start doing the autographs, I took a couple of pictures, and then one of the volunteers manning the line was like, "You're not allowed to take pictures." And I'm like, she probably didn't realize that I had already taken pictures, but because she saw me with my phone up, and I think I was getting ready trying to take another one, but she's like, "No pictures." And I'm like, okay, I won't take any more then. But I tweeted out.
It's always fun when you get.
I tweeted out the 2 pictures that I did.
Yeah, I saw when you posted the one picture, like, she's here!
Oh,
yeah!
With the same tweet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's fun to get contraband photos.
Yeah. Very much so.
A celebrity that do that with a helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
So.
That's funny because
You can go on my Twitter and see my two contraband pictures
photos
of Karen at her table.
They're out there on the internet, so they can't make them go away.
Exactly.
We will just copy them forever.
Yep. Copy, retweet, whatever it takes. We'll live forever. We're so slick. Awesome.
We're terrible people, so anyway.
No. We're just enthusiastic fans.
Breakers,
We're just enthusiastic. That's all it is.
And look at having contraband pictures of Karen going to everything done. That's pretty decent. I don't know.
There's something.
Yeah, Brittany. Brittany is having technical difficulties. Brittany currently sounds like she's taking my order at McDonald's. Yes, I would like to supersize that.
Do you want fries with that?
Yes, I would. Thank you.
You're better now.
Oh, this is live, folks. We don't make this stuff up. This all happens as is.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the perils of not editing.
Yeah, well, it's the perils of having to record over an internet connection. So, if we were all in the same room, it'd be completely different. But it is what it is. So,
it's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Our listeners have come to expect it from us, I think. So. Oh my! So yeah, check out Mitch's Twitter and all that for her contraband photos. Although we can post them up on the blog and on Facebook as well too. So.
But for now, they're on my Twitter.
Yep. Where they will live in infamy.
We're giving fans everywhere a bad name.
Yeah. In the best way possible.
In the best way possible. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Well, it's actually funny because I've come to expect that with at least in some instances, like when I saw Peter Davison a couple of years ago, and they were like, if you were like within 10 feet of where he was and you had a camera out, they were all up in your face going, no, put that away. But this one that I went to, Indiana Comic-Con, people were just taking photos and taking video while in line for the autographs, and nobody was saying a word to anybody. So I don't know if it's just because they didn't care or what, or if just because this was so new. This is only the second year this convention has taken place. I didn't attend last year, and from what I've heard, that was a good thing. Because last year, apparently they grossly underestimated the amount of space they would need for the number of people who would attend. And so they were literally turning people away at the door, even if people had already paid for their badge. They were turning people away because there were just so many people. So this year, they expanded the amount of space in our convention center that they were utilizing, which was good because it was busy this year. But it's funny because when they destroyed the old football stadium, the RCA Dome, and then they expanded the convention center on top of that, and of course built Lucas Oil Stadium for our bid for the Super Bowl that we hosted a couple of years ago. So the convention center, I don't know how much bigger it is. I want to say it like doubled in size or something compared to what it used to be. So now we're able to host a lot more events at the same time within the same convention center. So over this weekend, it was Indiana Comic-Con, like some tool, like trade show. I saw signs for like workshops on like weather stripping hanging in the halls. There was like a women's empowerment conference going on one of the upper levels, and a cheerleading and a dance competition, all going on in the same weekend.
Wow.
So, and
there you go.
Yeah. So no matter what you were into, you were bound to find something. But it was funny because like where they were having Comic-Con and the cheerleading competition were right, like the way at the end I came in, I would come through past the cheerleaders to get to the wing where Comic-Con was going on. So like it would be like a gaggle of like 10-year-old girls in cheerleading uniforms, and it's like the competitive cheerleading. So they're like, body glitter and their hair is, jacked up to Jesus, and it's just pink and, bright colors and sparkles everywhere. So it's like
fancy cheerleading handwriting everywhere.
Exactly. So it's like glitter and Deadpool all in the same hall.
Now I want to see a Deadpool cheerleader.
Yeah. Give them time.
Get on that.
Yeah, give them time. It's bound to happen. But it's like,
Thank you, I've already been happening.
You're not, it did not faze me whatsoever. I could be standing there and it'd be like, gaggle of cheerleaders. And then, the Fantastic Four, going the other direction. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Anyway, I don't want to tangent too much, so I'm just going to touch on the highlights here of this particular convention. So Friday, I went all 3 days, and that being said, if they get a guest next year that I really want to see, I think I'm just going to go the day that guest is there, and that's it. There were a lot of things about this convention I did not like, but I can save that for like a blog post on my own personal blog. I won't take up our listeners' time here for me to rant about the things I didn't like. So I will talk about the things I did like. So they had an interesting array of guests. Friday, there were only 2 quote-unquote headliners. So it was actually very empty on Friday because the only people there were Billy West, who, depending on what you're into, he's a voice actor. And he was the voice of Fry on Futurama. He was the voice of Doug on Doug. And the voice of Stimpy on Ren and Stimpy. And then Rory McCann was the other like big name that was there, who is the Hound on Game of Thrones, if you're a Game of Thrones fan. So not a lot of people in because not a lot of people, or not guests to draw a lot of people in. That, and it was Friday, and it was spring break, so there were probably people out of town and all that. But one of the most exciting things that happened to me on Friday is that there was a booth there for the Hall of Heroes, which is a superhero museum here in Indiana that's actually up near South Bend, actually up near where my in-laws live. So I told the guy working the booth, I was like, yeah, I know exactly where I don't know exactly where they were, but I knew what town they're in because it's the town right next to where my in-laws live. So
Nice.
it's like, yeah, I need to come by there next time we're visiting my in-laws, and we actually have time to stop by. But they had just a few displays with some of their stuff that's in the museum. The museum itself is actually quite large. It's like 2 stories. I talked to the curator actually for like 5 minutes. And I've got video of that. I've got a whole video took over the weekend that's up on my YouTube channel, but I'll post a link to it so you guys can see it. But the curator was telling me about the museum and about himself, some of his personal history and how he got into comic books and all that. But the museum itself, they have like Adam West's original Batman costume from the TV series.
Wow.
They're working on getting, speaking of Iron Man 3, they're working on getting one of the Iron Man suits from Iron Man 3 for their collection. But along with the little displays they had in their booth, they had the actual shield from Captain America, the First Avenger. And they were allowing people to take their photo with it, which that in itself is cool. It was funny because it was the actual prop from the movies. It was one of the nicer ones for like the close-up shots. The guy handling the photos said that actually there was a lighter version that they had to make for Chris Evans to run around with, because this was actually still too heavy for him to do the action stuff with. But it was like I think the industry term is like the beauty piece. So it's for those close-up shots where it needs to look like really authentic. But it is actually still lighter than I thought it was going to be. But I mean, it's the shield, and it's got the leather straps on the back for him to put his arm through. And they were taking pictures. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw I posted the pictures of me with the shield, standing there with the shield in front of me, and then another one with me with my arm raised above my head. And then there's another shot showing the back of the shield where they had the cast of Captain America Winter Soldier at like San Diego Comic-Con. So it is signed by Chris Whedon. They got Clark Gregg was there, so Clark Gregg signed it. Stan Lee's autograph is on it. If Anthony Mackie, Samuel L. Jackson. just like he kept pointing, and they've got photos. They had a collage of photos they'd taken of everybody's signed authenticity. So it's like, yeah, here's the photo, Samuel L. Jackson with the Sharpie. He actually signed it. But one of my favorites, and the guy told this story because I flipped out when I was looking at the photos, because there is a picture of Tom Hiddleston with it, not when he's signing it, but he's putting his arm in the straps. So he was all like, he was getting ready to hand me the shield and was like, okay, put your arm in. And I was like, I'm going to put my arm in the same place Tom Hiddleston has put his arm. I was like, I touched the DNA of Tom Hiddleston.
Which there's a sweat mark there still.
I know. Which, obviously Tom Hiddleston had nothing to do with Captain America Winter Soldier, but he happened to show up at this convention.
Well, didn't he carry the shield when he was Captain America in Thor: The Dark World?
Well, that's true. So that there is a connection there, but
might not be the same.
Yeah,
one,
the panel was supposed to be for Winter Soldier. So, I mean, he really wasn't supposed to be involved with it, but he happened to be there, so they had him sign it. But the photo, it has him putting his arm in it, so it's like, Tom Hiddleston put his arm in there, now I'm going to put my arm in there. So it's like, the fact, I'm like freaking out all over again. So, but they were very nice. All the people working the booth, they were very nice. The guy that was, teaching people how to put their arm in there and, pose with it. And the curator, which I'm totally blanking on his name, Adam Allen, I think, was super nice. And there was an older gentleman there that was working, that was taking the money that it was a donation to have your photo taken with it. I was like, best $5 spent ever. So it was totally worth it to donate and have my photo taken with that. And the fact that, it was signed by all of these people that I just love. I was like, oh. So that was really the highlight of Friday. Saturday, and then the rest of the day, actually, I really spent just going to panels. I went to a lot of, cosplay related panels over the entire weekend, actually, and then I went to a few comic book related ones, and then I walked around the dealer's room and all that, and walked through Artist Alley and all that. But Friday was actually really low key, which thank goodness, because Saturday was madness, and I knew that too. I take it like the calm before the storm. Because Saturday was when, the rest of the guests and the big names were going to arrive, and I knew that Saturday was going to be just madness. So, my priority on Saturday was not to get Jenna's autograph or a photo with her, just because I knew it was going to be so busy. So, I went to her panel on Saturday instead, which she had a panel on Sunday as well. But I just went to the one on Saturday, and she is so adorable. I can't stand it. She is she's so sweet and funny and nice, but just overall, the best word to describe Jenna Coleman is just adorable. I came home and I told Chauncey this too. I got home and I was telling him about her panel and all that, and she's like a little chipmunk or squirrel or something. I was like, I want to put her in my pocket and take her home and feed her Cheetos. That was the best metaphor I could come up with. She is so cute. That's the only way to describe it. And
likes Cheetos.
Yeah, I hope she likes Cheetos, because I'm going to be feeding her Cheetos. But of course, her panel, they started her panel, and they introduced her and made the call for people to come up to the microphone and ask questions. And you get a lot of the same questions. What's your favorite episode? What's your favorite this, your favorite that?
What's Peter Capaldi like to work?
Yeah,
with?
what's Peter Capaldi work like? What's Matt Smith? What's Matt Smith? Like to work with, that sort of thing. I know one of the questions, somebody asked her if she had like any hidden talents, and she said she's really good at hide and seek, and she think it'd be interesting for them to incorporate that into an episode at some point.
All right, Moffat, get on it.
Yeah, somebody asked her if she'd ever personally tried to make a souffle, and she said that souffles are really hard. And somebody asked her about how Clara is quite bossy, and she said that sometimes she thinks the Doctor actually needs bossing around. So she thinks that Clara is a good person to be around because she is bossy. Somebody asked if she could be another companion. She said she would be Amy Pond, because she liked the fact that Amy got to meet the Doctor when she was really little, and then met him again when she got older. She thought that was a fun storyline. Somebody asked her what the strangest question she's ever been asked, and she said she couldn't repeat it because there were children in the audience, but it had something to do with being bigger on the inside. So fill in the blanks there, I guess, with what you want. Use your imagination. And then one of the last questions that somebody asked, she did not really reveal anything. She could not really reveal anything about Series 9. One, because, spoilers, and two, they're still in the middle of filming it. So she doesn't, I don't even, depending on how far ahead, in the script, she doesn't even really know what's coming. But somebody had saw on a Peter Capaldi fan page on Facebook a picture of Peter with Alex Kingston, and asked if there was, just Alex visiting or what, or if there's a chance that River Song may make an appearance in the future. And she's like, not really. But she was actually, because the person thought it was like Peter Capaldi's Facebook page, and she's like, well, I don't think really Peter has a Facebook page as far as I know, which I could see that because he's not really on social media. But she actually said that she didn't think that Peter would ever have a Facebook page because he's not really technologically savvy. She said when she texts him, he has difficulty texting her back because he's not good at texting, and emojis apparently confuse him. So there's that.
I could see there being a moment in an episode where he has a cell phone and Clara's texting him and he's makes a comment about emojis.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Reminds
it's
me
why
of-
do you have
yeah.
why do you have to use parentheses? Why can't you just smile? Or
Yeah.
I don't know. I can just see the 12th Doctor being all grumpy about it.
Yeah.
It would be funny.
Yeah.
About the hide and seek.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey Moffat, we're writing an episode right here
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. Well, and one of the questions.
One of the videos that for the Karen Gillan that I partially got was Karen writing an episode revolving around Elvis. So
When Karen, Matt, and Arthur, no, it was just Karen, Matt, it was Billy, and they were at Fan X, and they wrote, quote unquote, an episode of Doctor Who while they were on stage at Fan X. It was like they landed in the middle of the Great Salt Lake, and I can't remember it all, but it was funny.
I remember that, but it was she wrote all by herself, just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then someone asked her about, and then later in the panel, someone asked her, what companion she wanted to meet, and she said Sarah Jane, and then she talked about them going off on an adventure No, it was like what companion she wanted Amy to meet, I think it was. And she was talking about Amy and Sarah Jane going off on an adventure without her earlier the earlier Elvis episode that she wrote.
Nice. Yeah.
So
yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So somebody asked Jenna if she could if she could actually travel in the TARDIS, where would she go? And she said 1920s and 30s New York would be. Although she also thinks the 60s would be really fun, be a lot of fun as well. But again, she really could not say anything about the upcoming season. So. As far as potential storyline, or even if she's planning on staying past season 9, she said you're just gonna have to wait and see. So, interpret that how you will. but it was fun, and just some of the questions that people came up with, and her reactions to things. And if you see the video that I post. She's very animated when she talks. She's constantly pointing or moving her hands and her arms and stuff. So she was very into, responding and, talking with the audience and answering these questions, which was really nice to see. And then one of the other highlights for Saturday for me was the other set of autographs that I wanted to get, that I'd budgeted for, and that was from Linda Larkin and Paige O'Hara, which their names, unless you're a big Disney person, their names right off the bat may not sound, their faces may not come to mind. But Linda Larkin was the voice of Jasmine in Aladdin, just the talking voice, not the singing voice. And then Paige O'Hara was the talking and singing voice of Belle in Beauty and the Beast. So meeting both of them and getting their autograph and getting pictures of them, my inner 10-year-old was having a conniption. Just because those, we're of that age where the Renaissance of Disney animation, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, the late 80s, early 90s, those films, captured our attention. And, I've seen, I still have them on VHS, or at least some of them on VHS, which is, I'm never going to give them up. Even if I never watch them again, I'm not going to give up the VHS copies just because they're so important to me and my childhood. But I was like, oh my God, you're Jasmine and you're Belle. And I watched your movies so many times when I was a kid, and I was like, but both of them were so nice. And I actually asked Paige what she thought about Emma Watson being cast as Belle in the live action version, and she thought that it was an absolutely brilliant choice, and she's actually reached out to Emma to offer her singing lessons. To help her out. So that's a pretty good endorsement that the voice of Belle offering new Belle her assistance and saying that that's a good choice. So that was awesome to hear that. So that was pretty much my Saturday, because it was really crowded. It was really, really crowded. And other than the 2 autographs and Jenna's panel, it was a lot of maneuvering the crowds, going to the different panels that I wanted to see. And occasionally, stopping and, checking out people's cosplay and all that. Obviously, there was a lot of Doctor Who cosplay, because Jenna was there. Not a lot of Star Wars cosplay, considering Carrie Fisher was one of the guests. I saw several stormtroopers. I did see one couple where the wife, girlfriend, whatever, was dressed as Han Solo, and the husband or boyfriend or whatever, this very hairy guy with a full beard, with a cigar in his mouth, not lit, but still cigar in his mouth, wearing the slave Leia costume.
That is awesome.
There is that. Oh, Saturday morning. One other thing I want to talk about. There was a wedding at the convention. That was like one of the first things they did Saturday morning. There was a couple that got married, and they were in costume. The entire bridal party was in costume. Their kids were part of the party, and they were in costume. Married by someone dressed as Darth Vader. I don't remember all of the bridesmaids, but I know that the groomsmen consisted of an X-Wing fighter from Star Wars, a minion from Despicable Me, the 10th Doctor, and Star-Lord.
Only at a Comic-Con.
Only at Comic-Con. I like, that's my kind of wedding, man. So that was fun. And there's a little bit of video of it, and I wish I'd had my video going, as I could tell they were getting to wrap up and say, I now pronounce you husband and wife, you may kiss the bride, because anybody could come in and watch, but obviously they had people there standing up for them that were in the bridal party. But there was a guy there dressed as Captain Jack Sparrow, and before the ceremony was starting, Jack Sparrow is out in the hallway going, "Oh, there's going to be a wedding. Come over here to room whatever it was in. Wedding in 5 minutes." That's what he said after they kissed. My camera going. Because they were all like, "I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride." And Jack Sparrow off to the side of the room goes, "Drinks all around." And then he proceeded to say, "I was just informed that the room is gone." So... I wish I'd had my camera going, because it was absolutely brilliant on Jack Sparrow's part. But that was very cool. I'd never seen something like that before, but it made perfect sense. If you're into that sort of thing, why not? Why not get married at Comic-Con?
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
That would be a story to tell your kids.
Oh, yeah. And then Sunday was my day to get Jenna's autograph and get my photo with Jenna. So, unlike Mitch, who was able to go in later, I was there. The autographs and stuff were supposed to start at 9. They opened the doors at 8:30. I was there at 8, and there were probably at least 50 people in line. Granted, it was the general get into the room, and then you split off to get in your, specific, this is the star I want to see line. But the fact that I was there at 8 a.m. and there was a good 50 people in line, I was like, okay, I'm glad I got up and got here when I did. It was not as busy as it was on Saturday. Why, I'm not entirely sure. I guess just because there's a lot, Saturday's the day people have free, so that's the day they go. But Sunday was still busier than it was on Friday, but it wasn't bad as it was on Sunday. But I got in, they opened the doors actually slightly late. They were supposed to open at 8:30. They opened at like 8:40. But the doors opened, we went in, people started to splinter off. The way they had it laid out is it was several of the rooms, the larger rooms in the convention center, and they just got rid of the dividing walls. So it was one really big room, it was like the size of a football field or something. It was a large space.
They do the same thing at the Metrotron Convention Center for
and before
Fan Expo.
Yeah, and since the autograph and photos started before the dealers area opened, they had that roped off. But you came in this one door, and to your right, you can see the dealer's area and all the booths. And then to your left, there's a concession stand, and then there's the lines for the photos. And then off to the far wall, they have it like curtained up, and you can see like the backdrops they have set up, and you can see like flashes of light coming from the camera. And then just past that, they have set up the tables for each of the celebrities. And I don't know who decided that this was the order that they needed to go in, but they put Carrie Fisher right next to Jenna Coleman. Could you have spread them out a little to maybe, like, separate the crowd a little? No. Princess Leia right next to Lee. Okay, whatever. Ugh. And of course, that's those are the two people that everybody is pretty much there for. No offense to the guys from Game of Thrones, and you know the Disney princesses and all the anime actors' voices they had at the very far end, which hardly ever had a line. So I'm like trying to navigate the crowd, and like, okay, I'm gonna how am I gonna do this? So I shuffle past the crowd. Get to the table, pay for Jenna's autograph, and they give me a little ticket. So I'm like, okay, I got the ticket, so they, you know, unless I like die or something, they can't turn me away when I come back later to get my autograph. So I pay for my Jenna autograph and then go back over and get in the line for the photos because she was doing photos first. So I go and get in that line and I pay for it, and then I wait with everyone else. And the photo line actually went quite quickly because it was like cattle processing. It was like there was a family right in front of me of like 4 or 5 people, and I remember seeing like the first person in their group walk in, and the next thing I know it's my turn and they're walking away. I'm like, wait, when did they take their photo? Like I barely blinked and they're walking away and it's my turn. Thankfully, I had the wherewithal to make sure my glasses were, like, clean, and I had the duff door out, and I had my ticket ready, and the lady was all like, do you want your bag in the photo? I'm like, no, and then she took it from me, and, like, they put me next to Jenna, and I was like, okay, Jenna, and the guy was like, smile, flash, go. Like, it was really quick. I think I had enough time to say it was really nice to meet her, and I was glad she was there, and she said thank you, and then that was it. So not a very bonding experience, but you know, as many people as were there.
Crying on Colin Baker's shoulder.
Yeah, it was not crying on Colin Baker's shoulder and having a nice cuddle with the 6th Doctor, you know, like I did. Oh, happy times. But you know, it is what it is, and I got my picture with Jenna. It's not my best photo, unfortunately. I really probably should have taken my glasses off, because I have this nice glare on one of my lenses. But I had barely time to smile for the photo, let alone like if I'd wanted to do a pose, I don't think I would have had time to spit it out. If I wanted to do a pose, let alone like think about, you know, taking my glasses off or maybe tilting my head slightly differently so I don't get glare. Because I have my photo with Sylvester McCoy from last year. I have my glasses on. My husband has his glasses on. Sylvester McCoy has glasses on. There's no glare. This picture, glare city.
Oh, that's
so. Oh, it's like, but Jenna looks good and the duff door looks good, so you know that's. And I have my TARDIS car to get on, so it's all good. But anyway.
Maybe you could Photoshop the glare out or something.
Yeah, we may attempt to do that, but you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I still have my photo with Jenna Coleman. It's obvious it's me. It's obvious it's her. So it's all good. So I get done with the photo. And then I go get in line for her autograph session because I know that's where she's going to go as soon as she's done taking photos. So I stand in line, you know, I stand there and, you know, just wait and, you know, I kind of chit-chat with the people around me a little bit. but then Jenna shows up at her table, so the line starts moving. Meanwhile, Carrie Fisher is doing her thing right next door, with the table right next to us, and her line is just as packed, if not more, than Jenna's. But the line was slowly going, and I was talking to this lady who was right behind me, just chit-chatting. But I had my phone out because again, I don't know if they just didn't care that people were taking pictures while standing in line waiting for an autograph or what. But they did say you could take a photo of the person signing whatever it is they're signing. So I guess, for authenticity purposes or whatever. So, I had my phone out to take pictures, and then I also brought Jenna a gift, which I brain flashed like the night before. I was like, I should give her something. So I feel kind of bad because I kind of regifted, but it was this teddy bear I had that I gotten from someone or somewhere. I don't even remember. But it was just sitting collecting dust. So I was like, it's small, it's light, so, it won't take up too much space and weigh her luggage down too much, if she even decides to take it with her home. But I had a Pacers uniform that I bought at Build-A-Bear, which was actually a bit too large for this teddy bear because that's actually designed to fit like the size bears that they sell at Build-A-Bear. But I bought it when I first got my Duffy Bear from Disney. I bought him a bunch of clothes at Disney and then a Build-A-Bear. But then when I started dressing, I dressed him in the pinstripes, and he became the Duff Door, and he's kind of stayed that way ever since. And he's like the Doctor; he's not changing clothes ever unless he decides to regenerate. So I had this Pacer uniform that...
I love your Duff Door.
Yeah, the Duff Door. Yeah. He went from being Duffy to the Duff Door, and he's stayed that way ever since. He gets around. So I took this Pacer uniform, put it on this bear, complete with basketball, little plastic basketball, that has a piece of elastic on it, so you can put the elastic around like your stuffed animal's wrist so it looks like they're holding the ball. Because this is Indiana, like I said earlier. This is a sports town. We're all about football and basketball, especially basketball. We've all seen Hoosiers and auto racing. So I was like, oh, this fits. It's her first North American convention. It's Indiana. Our thing is basketball. I'm like, this will be a cute little gift. So I put him in the little Pacer uniform and attached the ball to his wrist. So then I'm waiting, and I've got my poster out to have her sign. And I was like, I should try and, it's like, I had it in my head what I wanted to say, and I'd gone through it several times, but I did not, by the time I got up there, I managed to spit out half of it. I was like, I really should try to get her one of our business cards for the podcast. So I took the business card and slid it in so it was wedged between the elastic and the bear's arm. So it's like the bear's holding the basketball and one of our business cards. So I get up to the table and she's signing, and I don't remember what I said at first. I said something like, I think I told her like, thank you for coming and all that. And then I handed her the bear. I said, this is for you in honor of your first visit to Indiana. It's like, basketball is sort of our thing. And she's like, oh, thank you. She's like, I don't really know a whole lot about basketball. I played it as a kid and got a trophy, but she's like, I really don't understand the sport. But she accepted it, and I've got a picture of her taking it. It's a bit blurry, but I mean, it's obviously who she is, and I'm handing it to her. And then I told her to have a good rest of the day and safe travels to wherever she was off to next. And she said, "Oh, I'm flying back to go back to filming." So she came from Cardiff and went right back to Cardiff. And then that was it. And then my time was up and I had to go because there were still 5 bazillion people in line. But just like Karen, Jenna has one of our business cards, or did at least for a little bit. So, Jenna, if you happen to be listening, hi.
Hi, Jenna. Hi.
So, I wasn't quite as good at, or being able to mention the podcast and what it is that we did, and how Doctor Who was important to us, because that was part of what I wanted to say, but it didn't come out of my mouth, unfortunately. Yeah, it was, and that was one of my biggest issues with this particular convention, because with like Wizard World and some of the others, conventions of this size, being able to prepay for like your photos and autographs is really a time saver, and especially for like the photo. So you can go do whatever, come back at your designated time, get your photo and or autograph, and everything's hunky-dory. But this one, it was all just, if you weren't willing to deal with the masses, it wasn't only, which that's understandable, because it probably saves processing fees and all that by being cash only. But I heard a lot of complaints about everything, like pretty much everything being cash only, and people having to get there so early and stand in line just to guarantee that they get an autograph or a photo. It's just the way it was organized. It seemed like it could be organized better. And I hate to compare them to other conventions, because every convention's got their way of doing things. But again, like I said, I don't know if I want to attend this convention again, at least not as a full weekend. Just because it was, and the timings of things were weird. Like the dealer's room would only be open from like 10 to 5 or 10 to 6. But then but if you were in between panels and there wasn't anything, if like a panel ended at like 7 and the next panel you wanted to see didn't start at till 7:30, you had a half an hour where you just had to wait around. Because they're unless you wanted to if you were there with friends and you could talk, you were fine. Or if you wanted to go in the gaming room and play video games, you could. And they had a theater going in one of the rooms where they were showing movies. But if the movie theater wasn't playing anything you wanted to see, then you were just kind of stuck. Which kind of sucked, actually, a little bit. The movie theater was nice. I went in at one point, I think on Saturday, and I caught the tail end of Labyrinth, and I got like halfway through Princess Bride before I had to get up and go to Jenna's panel, actually, which that was kind of fun. And Sunday they were playing the original Star Wars trilogy, so that was fun. And some of the panels were interesting. Some of them, what they were advertised and what they actually were did not quite match up, which was disappointing. But some of them were actually really fun. I've got in my video, I've got some snippets from some of the panels I attended. Again, I attended a lot of cosplay ones, just because this was the first time I'd ever cosplayed. I semi-cosplayed on Friday. I was the 10th Doctor from the waist up and from the ankles down. So I had on the blue pinstripe jacket and the tie, the red tie, and the white button-up shirt, and I had my Chucks on, but I had on a denim pencil skirt and my TARDIS knee-high socks. So it was kind of Femme10 inspired-ish cosplay. But then I did my full cosplay on my full 10th Doctor cosplay on Saturday, which was fun.
I alternated between the tweed and the purple for my 11th Doctor.
Yeah. I'd never cosplayed before, but I decided I kind of want to give it a shot, and I had the Chucks, and but I was like, okay, pinstripe suit. How am I going to pull this off? I don't know how to sew, and I don't really have time, even if I did, because this was like 2 weeks ago that I decided to do this. Okay, thrift stores. That's where I'm going to go. So, and I told you gals this off the air, but I will tell the guests or our listeners. And I'll post a picture of me in my full 10th Doctor cosplay. I gone to Goodwill on a whim. It was a Goodwill I'd never been to before. I have like half a dozen within like a 10-mile radius of where I live. It's kind of ridiculous. But it's awesome if you like thrifting like I do. But I went into this one Goodwill on a whim. I'd never been to this one before. I go straight to like where they have like their two-piece outfits, so like suits, that sort of thing, and just start perusing. I'm like, maybe I'll get lucky and find something. So I'm going through, I'm like, no, not really. Wrong size, no. All the way at the very end of the rack, brown pinstripe two-piece suit, pants and jacket. Awesome! It's in my size. Even awesomer. I look at and like this particular Goodwill, like two-piece outfits were like $6.99 or $8.99. So I was like, okay, $7, $8, $9. I'm like, that's a really good bargain. But my particular Goodwill, every week they have different color tags. If you've ever been to a Goodwill, I think most Goodwills do this. They circle through like 5 or 6 different colored tags, and then every week a particular color is the color of the week, and anything that color with that color tag on it is half off. But the day that I went to this Goodwill, it was the first Sunday of the month. And on the first Sunday of the month, anything that is the color of the week is 99 cents. So my brown pinstripe suit was 99 cents.
That is nice.
I know!
Great deal. You know how much it was originally?
If I'd bought it new,
99 cents.
Yeah, I would say
Definitely.
in the department store, it was a brand I don't recognize. So, low end probably for a suit like that, maybe $50 in the department store, maybe. Even if it hadn't been the color of the week, it would have been like $9, and that still would have been a really good price. All things considering, but the fact that it was 99 cents is just nuts. So, like,
Man, when I found my pinstripe suit at our version of Goodwill we have,
yeah,
it was like, this is a steal, and I'm like 99 cents. I'm like, wow.
yeah,
But still, $10 was good,
yeah,
or whatever it was.
yeah. So, anyone cosplaying out there, don't let the thrift stores, don't pass them by, because you never know.
Yeah.
If you can't sew
If you
like I
accidentally-
can't,
Yeah.
thrift stores are your friend.
You have more than one? Yes, they are.
Yeah, especially if you have
one
more
in
than
your
one.
area, hit them all.
Yep, absolutely.
I made a Halloween costume out of thrift store purchases, and I won second place at a Halloween contest.
Nice.
Well, there you go.
I only lost out. I would have got first place if the first place winner wasn't a little baby dressed as a puppy.
Oh wow.
Well,
You can't
there
beat
you
it.
go.
You can't beat a baby. That's just wrong.
Right?
Babies win, especially when they're dressed like animals.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's why you probably saw that baby carriage dressed as a
A
Dalek,
doll like, yeah,
Yes.
at Gallifrey.
you win.
And they said that, they people asked them, like, why they didn't do the masquerade, and they're like, we pretty much figure once you put a baby in there, it's over, so we didn't want to skew the competition.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you got
Way
a
to
point.
skew the bell curve there. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So that was fun. But okay, last highlight, and then we can finish up, I guess, here. So last panel I went to on Sunday, was the panel with Linda Larkin and Paige O'Hara. And it was in the similar vein of Jenna's panel, where it was pretty much just led by people asking questions. Although the guy moderating was actually really good about like injecting his own commentary or asking like a follow-up question. But again, my inner like Disney 10-year-old self was just like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. But and I posted this on my own Facebook page, and then it's in my video that I'll post a link to. But somebody asked a question, and I don't remember what the question was, but the moderator followed up and said something about singing. And like I said, Linda Larkin was not the singing voice of Jasmine, but Paige was the talking and singing voice of Belle. And somehow, between the person's question and the moderator's commentary, we managed to convince Paige O'Hara to sing. And so she's like, you're gonna have to join in here. But she sang some of the opening lines from the opening song from Beauty and the Beast, Belle, in a town, in a quiet village. She didn't sing that bit where it gets more up tempo after the village people start saying bonjour, bonjour, but yeah, to hear Paige O'Hara sing, like to all of us, like I cried. I'm crying thinking about it. It was just absolutely amazing. Like I said, my inner younger me is like out of body experience. Like, I could never imagine, when I watched Beauty and the Beast on repeat as a kid, that one day I would actually get to meet Belle and hear her sing. Live in person. It was just surreal. So, but that was the last panel I went to, and like that was a good way to cap off the entire weekend with that right there.
You're just kind of like I've done it all. We can go home now.
Yes, exactly. It's like I can die now, or at the very least, I can go home happy. So, but that was my adventure at Indiana Comic-Con for what it was.
A couple more highlights from Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
That I remembered because I'm doing stuff while we record.
Yeah. Multitask.
I got this guy came up when I was hanging out with Nathan, the other 11th Doctor cosplayer, on Friday, and he asked to take a picture, actually he wanted to take a video of us. So he has he would push in, pull out, and he wanted we were changing poses and doing all this stuff. And he said it's gonna be probably up in a couple of weeks, and that's the Canadian Nerd on YouTube. So if you want to go check that out when it goes up, you can. And
nice.
Then on Saturday, I went to the Orphan Black panel, which was so amazing. And, it was, and Donnie and, the guy who, plays the male clones that they introduced at the end of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And who else? Where's my program? I just had it.
This is live, people.
It doesn't say in the program, but it's like. Sorry, I'm.
Technical difficulties.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, I know. I didn't sit on any of the other like big name panels. Like Carrie Fisher only did she was there Saturday and Sunday, but she only did a panel on Saturday. Jenna's panel on Saturday was at 3:30, from 3:30 to 4. And as we were leaving the hall that they were using for the like headliner panels, as we were exiting at 4, people were already lining up for Carrie Fisher's panel, and her panel was not till 6.
Yeah. Well, on Saturday I was like kind of in and out of the main panel room because they clear the room after each panel and then let the people in. So I was in and out for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like I was for 3 different panels, and the last of those was the Orphan Black.
Yeah.
So it was.
I heard a few comments about Carrie's
Christian
panel,
Brunn,
but
who is Donnie, Kevin Hanchard, is Art, the police officer from that worked with Beth.
Mhm.
Arian Millen, who is the male clones that they just introduced,
Mhm.
and Josh Bokey, who is Scott, who works with Cosima, and then one of the creators.
Nice.
So they talked about first 2 seasons. They teased season 3 a little bit.
Don't you love when they do that? They're gonna dangle a carrot here.
Well, I mean, it's a month out, so
Yeah. It's the carrots.
That was really amazing because Christian Brunn was talking about his reaction of the scene where Donnie accidentally kills Leaky, and like reading through it and like, oh my, like his reaction to like find out like that it was
What
like
do you mean this
first
is
that
gonna
it was
happen?
Donnie in the car when the car pulled up that it was Donnie,
Yeah.
and then and Donnie's got a gun and then he puts the gun down and bang, and Leaky's dead.
That,
And he was
what
like,
do you mean this is gonna happen?
he was.
You can't do this to me.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that was, and something else I was doing. Oh, Tony Curran.
Mhm.
Tony Curran came by Vincent Van Gogh from Vincent and the Doctor.
Oh,
He
nice.
was there, and at one point, this afternoon, I was hanging out around the Doctor Society of Canada booth, and he showed up there.
Nice.
I got a bunch of pictures
Sweet.
that we're gonna post. That we can post. So, yeah.
That is awesome.
That is way cool.
That's a win right there, man.
So, and then I donated a bit to charity to get my picture taken with the Daleks that were at the booth, because they were doing this thing where you could donate like any amount, no matter how small, like just whatever you felt, whatever you wanted to donate. It was going to Sick Kids Hospital, and you could get your picture taken with the 2 Daleks that they had there at the convention. So
That was nice of them. That's a good
Yeah.
fundraiser.
So I donated $1. Got 2 pictures taken. Post those 2.
Awesome.
Cool.
It was just a really great weekend.
Yeah.
I'm just
Well, between
thinking about having met Carrie Gillen, and I had like jitters afterwards. Like, oh my god, I actually,
Yeah.
it was like just this whole body feeling that
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That,
There's some pretty cool stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, between you two and the Vortex boys, I didn't go to a con. I feel like I've been conned out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm all good with it.
I was starting to feel it. Con cred. Anybody that's been to a convention, all know about con cred. So I think I'm still slightly recovering, but yeah. Conventions are fun. We've done a whole episode about conventions. So if you can go to one, go. You know, if
Yeah,
for anything
talk
else,
about-
just say you
talk about
have.
it again.
So
well,
lots of
it's
fun.
worth it
Yeah.
to be able to go to
Even if you just go to people watch. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It can be a lot of fun, especially with the cosplayers. You get some cosplayers that get into character, and it's quite entertaining. So.
All right. Well,
And I got
Probably
a
oughta-
poster and a temporary tattoo from the Orphan Black panel. So,
Swag.
because they were handing them out as people went in.
Nice.
So,
We do love swag.
that rock.
we do love swag.
Swag is fun.
Can't argue with that at all.
Mm.
Are you swag?
All right. Well,
It
we
is
probably
getting
oughta
late.
Start wrapping up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is for us East Coasters. It is getting late.
So just plug our stuff. Go to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast.blogspot.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, Patreon, and
Instagram.
That's our newest thing.
I'm probably going
And-
to be posting my pictures and videos probably on my own, either Tumblr or Twitter, or maybe I'll start a blog. I don't currently have a blog.
Tumblr works.
Tumblr works.
Yeah.
Tumblr works. But I'm thinking maybe that I will get a blog and just to post stuff from this weekend.
Yeah.
So look for that. Look for
Video.
the video of me on the Canadian Nerd on YouTube.
We can link to it when it comes up too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
Sweet. And again, if you're in the Indianapolis area, next Saturday, Who North America, I'll be there.
Yes, go see Rachel.
Come see me.
Go
and say hi.
Yeah. And next week's episode, we will be talking about the return of Doctor Who. Not the current season, but just in general, the return of Doctor Who to
Yeah.
TV.
10 years
New
years
Who.
of New Who. That's
Yep,
it.
10 years
Yep.
of New Who. So,
Awesome.
we're
Alright.
very excited.
Currently, Inner Space, the talk show on Space Channel, is doing a thing for that, and they had the people at the Doctor Who Society of Canada booth do this video saying, happy birthday, happy 10th anniversary, New Who kind of thing.
Nice.
So,
All right. Well, I think we
So much
plugged
happened this
ourselves
weekend.
up.
I know. It's crazy.
Right.
We remember something else. We'll post it on our Facebook page, so stay tuned.
Yes. That's kind of where we've been putting
Yeah.
all the extra stuff.
Yeah.
So
Otherwise, these shows will all be 4
Facebook's
hours
the best
long.
way to go.
yeah.
Anyway, well, we plugged everything out, and I'm plugged up, so we probably
Yeah.
Yeah. And my stuff is all under Hoovian Mitch.
Yep.
So that's
We have
Twitter,
we have a
Tumblr,
an
Instagram.
we have an about us page on our blog, and it has the links to all our respective social
Yeah.
media things.
I
So.
updated my about me because
Wasn't
my name.
Yeah, we probably need to go and update all of ours. I know I updated mine recently, so considering we've been at this for almost a
updated
year.
My picture and my name, but I didn't do anything with the description.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know. I ended up trouble
Links
figuring out
change.
in the first place.
Yeah,
I don't know how, like, what.
something.
I'll think about it later.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's late. It's
Okay.
for some of us, it's
Yeah,
a quarter
we'll
to
take care of
1
it.
in the morning. So
Yes.
I'll probably
You guys
post
need to go to bed.
pictures on Instagram,
yeah.
probably. And then, but I haven't put the link to my Instagram up on the About Us page yet.
We'll put it. It'll get
Mostly
there.
because I haven't
We'll
put
get it.
any pictures yet.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel right linking to something that
Yeah.
has nothing in it.
Excuse
But
me.
if
Yeah,
I
it's
post
true.
pictures, then I'll add in the link. So
Cool.
All right.
Well, we
I
probably
think
gotta
that's
head out.
everything.
Yeah.
So I think it is.
Yes.
I think we're
Yes.
good.
Yep. All right.
So,
With that, let's sign off before we all pass out or something.
Okay, this is Brittany's from Fort Hill saying goodnight. I can't even remember.
You know it's bad when you forget your own name.
this is Chrissy in Salt Lake City saying I need NyQuil.
This is Mitch saying goodnight from Kitchener, Ontario.
This is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm gonna go get my own tiny little Jenna Coleman so I can carry it around in my purse. Good night, everyone.
You have been listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Any and all movies, books, games, and other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by their respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied.